Another day, another deadly war. Welcome back to Seva's #1 broadcast station for all things warfare. My name is Markus Redwood, and welcome to our report on week 4 of the war. Now, before I begin today's report, I would like to apologise to all of our international listeners outside of Seva, and all of those who listened through our archivist channel. The vinyl containing the week 3's report was destroyed while being prepared for transport. We at the studio apologise and promise you will receive next week's recording through the usual channel. Now, I request everyone turns their attention to the weekly newsletter, because it's time for the territory changes. Now, I have to warn all of you, the situation in this report could be distressing to some, but it's my duty to report. We have lost much of the Moors, Stone Cradle, Callahan's Passage and Fadanak Coast, while having partial losses in Reaching Trail. However, we have made gains in Endless Shore and Reaver's Pass. Now, I know what some of you at home are thinking. You think that after last week, this might spell the end of the war for those damn collies taking the victor. And to that, I say no. I hold faith in our wardens. I hold hope that our superior military might will bite back the Messian forces and show them that Callahan's knee bends to no man nor woman, and it certainly isn't going to start buckling now. And with that said, I have the casualty totals from the last week of the war. Colonial casualties are bordering on 2 million as of today, the 7th, with a brilliantly high rate of 2,971 an hour. This is something to be proud of, Wardens. We are standing longer, which means we stand taller. For every one of us they take, we put down 10 of them. And on that point of pride, I want us to get to the war stories. Now, we haven't got as many stories as last week, but we have 1 or 2 short accounts of the front lines from our impeccable Warden soldiers. The following is a personal account from the aftermath of the battle at Callahan's Passage at Scathing Pass on the 2nd. It was written by Marcy at the Warden's Pony Regiment. There took place a large armour engagement between the Wardens defending the relic base and the Colonial assaulting it. In the Warden corner, an outlaw, brigand, nemesis and widow. In the Colonial corner, a Bardik, 2 Nemesi, a Stigan, a BT and 2 BTDs. Initially the Wardens suffered heavy losses, losing all their armour with the nimble Nemesis, in exchange for the Colonial Barkeet, which came first to lead the charge. The newly arriving Warden tanks were defending bravely, but they were not enough. Soon we lost our eat, and enemy guns and grenades started showering the relic. 80%, 60%, 40%, 30% left, then silence. The relic stood. To our help across the bridge arrived the most advanced fighter machine in our arsenal, the Cullen Predator. A strong tank, but with no chance against the green guns. Soon there arrived a new Widow and a Silverhand. The Silverhand's driver yelled out for crew, and we answered. We? Me and a random corporal, and hence we rolled together with the Super Heavy. We took fire with it, we pushed with it, we shot and ran back with it. Then we hear the familiar sound of armour breaking, an engine stalling, and see the grey smoke coming from our Predator. There was no time to waste. I yell forward, hurriedly damaging the hearing of my driver. And so we rushed to the Colonial line, alone in blood-red rage, to stop at the very least 1 shot of their guns. We took on our trusty steel many high-caliber shots. 68s, 75s, 94.5s, I lost count at that point. My forward-facing 68mm had been disabled, so I ran out of the tank to repair the Predator. To my back I hear an explosion. Just in time. I started hammering away at the tracks. 20%. Our sacrifice was needed and necessary. The Super Heavy lived. The relic base lived. The Stigan died to infantry. The Nemesis died to our tanks. Their heavy tanks retreated. The front was saved. For now. What a splendid story that was. I hope the sacrifice mentioned was merely a few limbs and not their lives, as such brave and valiant soldiers should live to see the war they help win. I hope to hear more stories from our friends at Pony Regiment in the future. Our second story, and last, comes from Reliable Excavation Demolition, or RED, from an unknown Wargent Regiment. A shorter story. The story details the defense of the in-production battle tank at Callum's Cape Lookout, as the soldier joins during the tail end of the conflict. The following is a direct quotation. I quickly realised how dire the situation was, with swarms of collies right outside the pad that was printing the BT. The battle was the half-ruined remains of the facility, which emulated urban combat in a way, with large trains, flatbed cars and broken concrete. We managed to regroup our armour last minute and push them back to the hills right when the BT was done printing and was successfully evac'd back to north. Short but sweet, it's lovely to hear yet another Warden victory. I'm sure that battle tank is being put to good use against the Messian's forces. And with that, that's all we have time for in this programme. I would like to thank the wonderful Robert L. Games for allowing us to access his story collection. His own show's frequency can be found in the weekly newsletter provided. I would also like to give a heads up to anyone who listens on our archive. Following the taking of Southwestern Reaching Trail, our archivist has had to relocate, so all copies may be delayed by a week. We all sincerely apologise. We all hope our archivist the safest relocation and a full recovery from injury sustained by artillery shelling. Thank you all ever so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for Week 5 recap of the war.